What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series, and this is Discord Friday. Please excuse my voice today. Now, my allergies have been acting up for about a week now. Springtime, and then when we start getting into the September month, when we have 80 and humid, and then it drops 20 degrees overnight, this is when my allergies really start acting up. So please bear with me. And I just noticed I forgot to change my shirt. I just ran in from a garage sale because I've been, I buy and resell on eBay now, and I'm sure you guys have know that by now. But for this, guys, I appreciate you for being here. We're going to look at a couple pallets. I took a little scenario picture in my warehouse, and then we're going to actually help out someone that private messaged me. So before we get to that, guys, if you could join Discord, link in the description below. It's free, guys. Come join that community, subscribe, and interact on my channel. I really appreciate it. Comments, thumbs ups, all that stuff. And if you want to help by donating, it is much appreciated. Let's get on to the first picture. All right, guys. So sometimes, so many people post pictures over on Discord anymore. I don't know if you're asking for help. I can't remember. I can't remember if you're asking for help or if you just posted your work. But anytime I see a picture that I think needs some tweaking, obviously I'm going to get into it because this is we're here to help the newer selectors out as well. And like I said, I don't remember if you're a new selector or not, but I want to tell you right now, I don't select with totes, but I have rebuilt plenty of pallets that have been cross-docked from other warehouses that have totes on them. And I can tell you right now, I would never 6-block these unless I had a case that could sit directly on top of them. For the reason being is because they don't sit flush. If you're putting cases on here, they're going to start rocking because they dip in. I would, if I had 6 of these totes, I would do 3 up the front on both sides. I personally, when I have stuff like bananas, like if I have 6 bananas, I do the same thing because the top of the banana boxes dip in. I like stacking them up the front, guys, because when I'm getting all these boxes, and this is knowing your warehouse, I want as much wood exposed as possible to stack all this stuff on, because the more flat surface that you have to stack on, the more sturdy your pallet's going to be. So remember that. If you have 12 totes or even more, then okay, then we got to go to revert to this as a base. But if I have 6 or less totes, I'm stacking them towards the front of my jack, leaving wood exposed. Now, I want to get to your back pallet real quick. All what I want to say about your back pallet is that you don't have to tie in these grapes. All right, it takes longer to do so. And usually when you tie them in, sometimes you got it pretty level here, but sometimes they don't sit level. The reason why I said you don't have to tie in these grapes, so I would have just 3-stacked them the whole way up, even if they're different grapes, all right? Even if it's the same box, different grapes, because they all tab into each other. They all lock into each other, and they just stack very well, column stacked. So also I want to say is keep your lines, all right? We got to keep our lines. When I'm putting these honeydews down, I want this case all the way to the outside. You did it with your cantaloupe, but then we lost our line back here. So you got this row shifted back this way, this row shifted this way. The cherries are tucked in. You want to keep those lines. Imaginary line the whole way up. So this honeydew should be out here. This is good, but this cantaloupe should be all the way out here. This cherry should be all the way out here. You want to keep those lines. It's very important to keep lines. And because as sturdy as this pallet looks, it looks a little wavy, and it's just because you're not keeping your lines. But to top it off with your strawberries and everything, you did a good job. I mean, it's not a badly built pallet, but like I said, I just wanted to throw a couple tips in. All right, guys, what a freaking, I think this person said they've been there 3 months, and you could tell, they said they do follow my channel, and I just see it. It's like when you have a lot of small cases, all different sizes, you get forced to column stack and tie in when you possibly can. And we utilize a slip sheet at a really good time. This pallet is solid. For 3 months of stacking, you did a great job. 2 the same case, facing back, 1 in, 1 in, 1 in. We're leaving nice separated gaps, guys. This is what I'm talking about. You don't want this, if you know you're not going to fit a case in between, you don't want to slide all these back and have this big gap here. You want nice even gaps. We got all of our skinny cases in the middle, cases pointing in towards the middle. We got that slip sheet comes out, folds over. I mean, this is just beautiful. High corner, low inside, guys. We got a case on its side, probably not a big deal. We're towards the top of the pallet. Doesn't look like nothing's heavy on top of it. But this is just perfectly done with all of these small cases. Great work. All right, what you don't know is I'm coughing in between. I keep cutting it out, and now my eyes are starting to get watery. But let's push through this video. This was in my warehouse. This was a pickup task. And when I see something simple that I can fix, you know, I take the time to do it just for the video content for you guys to see. You know, we got this pickup order. You know, you guys always say you don't know what pickup orders are. It's just someone that didn't complete it, so someone else is going to pick it up. I tell you guys, strong corners, weak inside. All right, we want the strong corner. Well, if we put our Parmesan cheese shipper in the middle and we just keep stacking little cases up on the outside, well, obviously that is not going to give us a strong corner. So I hurried up and switched it around to show you. Just look at it. Just look at it, why don't you? But if you just look at it, I mean, it just gives you that. You could tell just by looking at it now that this is going to be a stronger pallet because we got that nice strong corner. Just remember, guys, shippers on the outside, keep them towards the front of your jack. And if it needs to be upright, keep it upright. All right, guys, now we're going to get on to the person that messaged me. A lot going on with these these pictures. So bear with me. I hope I can help. So first of all, let's go right to your front pallet here. All right, so we got these Prego sauces down here. It looks like you were literally one away from having a complete layer. What I would do there is these come in like 11 blocks. I 10 block these, all right? So I 10 block them, I space them out. So I can't tell how many Pregos you have here, but I believe they come in 11. If you were one short, start 10 blocking them, all right? It just takes a matter of seconds. Okay, guys, I tell you all this all the time. Yeah, you don't want to handle your cases more than once if you don't have to. But when you are on your base is your entire load. If you do not make sure that your base is going to be nice and sturdy, then your whole pallet's going to be crap. And you're just going to be fumbling with cases the whole way up the pallet to try to get it not to fall, or stopping and wrapping when you don't need to. So I always say if you could take a little extra time from waist down on your base, then you're going to have a better result. And you're going to move a lot faster through your order once you get through the heavy stuff. So I would have spaced out these Pregos and had a nice solid base. So that's one thing. I like stacking my water up the front. I don't know if you got that from me, as long as you can correct yourself. So like if I have, I don't know, like 15, 20 water or whatever, maybe I'm utilizing the whole pallet. So if we would have took our Prego and spaced it out, there's one solid layer. You look like you have, I don't know, what, 6, 7, 8, like almost 20 water. I would have took 20 water and I would have filled it out right on top of the Prego. So now we would have had solid layers, and you could even utilize the slip sheet on top of your full layer of water. Then you would have had all the room to put these V8 splashes or whatever, the juicy juices. You would have had plenty of room to do that. Now, I noticed on the other picture we're going to see, you did complete this back to meet, but how long did it take you to complete that back? So that's what I would have done. Space out your Prego, make a full layer. 20 waters, I'm making a full layer, maybe putting a slip sheet down on top of my full layer if there's one around. I'm not going to go look for one. And then you could have had an easy stack on top of the water with all your juicy juices. And with that being said, let's look at what you have here. We're just too many awkward cases. Remember, I like cases pointing inwards. I do like cases pointing on the back, facing back, if I have two the same. We're uneven. This is just a very uneven thing. So I'm going to stick with what I said on the front pallet. Remember that. Your ketchups, I don't know. I can't remember offhand if this is the way they come on the pallet. I do not follow the block if it hangs off the pallet. You're hanging off the pallet a good bit. I just noticed this is running across the middle of your pallet. All right, so big, strong cases like this, even though they're a little flimsy, I'm using these as a corner. All right, so what I would have done is 2 ketchups right here with 1 ketchup facing in on the front of my pallet. I would not have these on the back of my pallet. I like my back to be stronger than the front. So these ketchups would have been 1, 2 with 1 facing in, nice and spaced out if I needed to, with the cans right behind it. All this stuff would have been behind it. So that's what I would have done differently with this picture. Please, if I'm talking too fast, just watch this back. I hope I'm helping with this information. All right, so here's a side view. Like I said, we could have spaced out this. We could have had a nice solid layer of water, and then we could have had, and then these juicy juices up towards the front of the jack, okay? Put them towards the front of the jack. You don't want these in the middle. They're nice big cases. I don't want them in the back if I don't have to, but I would have had one layer of Prego, one layer of water, and then I would have my juicy juices up front, and we would have had a nice pallet stacking here. So that's the only thing that I see different with this. All right, so let's say we get right here to this point right here. Your LaCroix and this here, I probably would have tried to go back that way on top of the mayo if it worked. If it didn't, I would have hurried up and turned it. Looks like we have Huggies on the corner. If that's Huggies, please don't ever put those in the corner. Not only are they unsturdy, but just to put them in a corner, I would never do it unless I'm topping off a pallet. Remember, if you grab a Huggy early in your diapers, early in your order, throw it on the jack. If you have nowhere to put it, throw it on the jack. And then remember, guys, case is facing in. And this is knowing your warehouse. So if I knew I had big cereals coming up, maybe I'm, just stacking this a little differently and saving this area for the big cereals so I can have that big, strong corner on the other side. Guys, I tell you all the time, if it takes me literally like 10, 15 seconds to correct something like this, because then I got to worry about my pallet falling. If I come to this right here, so let's even say you came to this. I got the Kleenex down, I got this down, I got these two Campbells, and I got this Huggies down. Guess what I'm doing? I'm shooing all that stuff out of there, and I'm dropping this big box right on top of that box, so my nice sturdy corner is there, and then I can throw all those little items on top of it. Do not hesitate to just knock these cases out and drop this box right on top of your flat surface. That's how you do stuff like this, guys. I'm telling you, touch once does not work. It does not work, especially in a poorly swatted warehouse. So that's what I would have done differently here. All right, so here we are looking at I don't know if it's the back of yeah, it is too, because I see your Cheez-Its up there. So it's the back of the order. Once again, guys, this is so important. I don't mind you doing this down here and not following the block, because if these are the longer mayo, I probably would have turned one in if these are the ones that come 10 blocked. But see how our spark or our middle column is just on a slight lean, and that's all from not having this centered. So if you are going to go 3 across the back, just center it. Always center your cases. It's just going to make that much more sturdy of a pallet. I would probably, yeah, so right here, this mayo here, let's say I put this mayo down, I'm moving it. I'm turning this case in, I'm turning these cases in. I will put my mayo either on the front pallet or put it somewhere else. I want my cases facing inwards. When you start running cases in this direction, you start getting these columns that are easily going to fall over because they're on the side where you go around a corner, bam, bam, they're going to fall over. When you have cases pointing in, it's harder for that case for it to fall over. Yeah, that's all. I mean, space out your base. If it's here and it's not working, move it. All right, move these cases here and face cases in. When you face cases in, you save a lot of room and you're going to have a more sturdy pallet. This is the front of that pallet. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is the front. We got the Prego, we got the water. I told you what I would have done differently here. I like keeping your collates towards the front of the pallet. I like them in the corner like this, stacked up. I would have done the same thing. Nice skinny case in the middle. We got our Pringles together. This side of the pallet looks really nice. So where'd we go wrong over here is we kept going back the same direction. So right on top of your juicy juice, your main concern should have been coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. You keep following, you did the same thing in the back of the pallet. Keep following the length of the pallet. And I swear this is no fault of your own because all new selectors like to build the length. No one likes pointing their cases in. I promise you, if you start focusing on pointing cases in with a center column, a nice skinny slender column, you're going to start not having this lean right here. So right on top of this right here, I would have started pointing cases inwards. Your mac and cheese, you could throw that up on top of your Pringles and worry about it at a later time because it's a light box, it falls apart. You could have thrown it on top of your Pringles, worry about it later. This water, same thing. Throw it on your jack, do whatever with it. It's same as the other thing. I told you, just move some cases out, bring your flat cases down. I am always worried about my corner and having those flat surfaces like that. So, I mean, it's not horrible, the front of this pallet, but that's what I would have done. Is just focus on pointing cases inwards. The side of your pallet, and this is what I wanted to say, is like, so this is our water, and you met up and you actually completed your pallet looking pretty nice. But my question is how long did it take you to organize this back pallet to get this to match the front? So I'm going to recap one more time because Prego, separate it out when you have 10. 10 block it, separate it out. Water, if you're having like around 15 or more, use it as a level layer, all right? If you can get away, or even if you have a level layer, all right? Just because I do something doesn't mean it's gonna be the greatest for you. So level layer Prego, level layer water, and then you could have stacked, you could have had a lot better looking palette here if you just keep things level. I think you need to focus on keeping things level. I get a little strategic whenever I build, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it as well. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope the person that sent me those pictures, I hope I helped out with some great pointers there. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comment section below, or even just private message me. All right, and I will try to help you as much as possible. Keep sending your pictures. If I could put you on another video, I will. If you need further help, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.